want to just start by talking about some of your story and your background.
It's been a huge evolution, man. So I always grew up active and athlete, but I did not always grow up the healthiest kid. I found a local gym here in Columbus, and I just started working out there and ended up working at the gym too.
Okay.
So that was a huge, halfway through my first semester in college, I got some news that my mom had been diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah. It's so crazy how similar, I think, even from childhood, our stories are.
I'd been in a fight with addiction and nothing could keep me sober. And one day we had a chaplain come and talk to us. And so that day I told myself I was going to dedicate the entire rest of my life to God. And ever since that day, I've been sober.
Getting to that point is very hard. A lot of people don't get there.
And the opportunity for me to go back to a facility with doctors, nurses, therapists, anybody that's associated under that building, to be able to go back and just give back to that community means more than words can describe.
Yeah.
I like to say if you're curious enough, then you're curious enough to seek change.
Welcome back to another episode of Between the Reps. I am your host, Granger, and today I am joined by my good friend, fairly new friend, Nick. How we doing today, Nick?
Today's been a day, man. It's been a busy last couple of weeks, but I'm very thankful you had me on the show. And I'm excited to dive into some of the topics we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, me as well. First of all, want to just start by talking about some of your story and your background, and then we can kind of transition into how we met and then go into some of the things we are going to speak on today. I know it's going to be a little faith-driven. You're in a marathon prep currently. Really excited to hear how that's going. And I know we talk weekly, but kind of giving the listeners a viewpoint on marathon training, what all goes into it, touch on your nutrition a little bit. So without further ado, who is Nick?
Yeah, it's been a huge evolution, man. I would say within the last year of my life, I've had some of the biggest changes that I could have ever asked for in a good way. It's been a blessing. I have finally found a relationship with God, and he has guided me to a life that has truly been amazing. It's been fruitful, and it's been something that's given me friendship, relationships, and just gratitude all the way around the board. It's been something that's gotten me back into marathon training, which we'll talk about quite a bit, but been very into my faith this year, been into marathon training, and also been a little bit of a sourdough addict myself. So
You kind of got me started on the sourdough. I know I reached out to you about a starter, I think, and you said, I know you're super busy and it was going to take you a couple weeks just with the development. Now you get into actually making the bread. I'm like, dude, this is a whole nother art form. It is insane.
dude, it's a science project.
Yeah.
Who knew 175-gram jar of starter on an Easter weekend would turn into probably my biggest hobby. And
Yeah.
It's been so much fun, like just learning every step along the way. And it's a huge temperature and just timing thing to
Yeah.
where it's a loaf of bread that you make. It just turns out so nice and you get to share it with people. And it's been a fun hobby.
Yeah. I made my best loaves, I feel like, go to people. And then when I made a couple loaves this past weekend really quick, it was last minute. Normally I do it on Friday and start the process, but I did it really fast. And these two, dude, I'm going to send you a picture of these when we're done. They are so flat. I overproofed them. Oh, I was so frustrated too, because I was like, I need the sourdough for these runs and I've been eating more before my lifts or the cycling that I've been doing, and sourdough is my go-to. And the two loaves turned out terrible. So I don't know about you, but I experienced the past few loaves that I've done with like a jalapeno cheddar, and then I did a cinnamon sugar. The cinnamon sugar, bro, was unreal.
I've gotten the best reviews from a cinnamon sugar one that I did. It was phenomenal. I've done jalapeno cheddar, but you hit the nail on the head. This marathon training, sourdough has probably been my number one carb source. I eat it before runs. I eat it at night. I eat it any time of the day. It's super easy digesting. Add some honey to it. It's perfect.
Yeah, the macros on it too. I know Tyler and Pat, they were talking about it in their podcast, which those guys are in the Dadletics group that we've been going to. And you didn't realize how beneficial it is. And you feel so much better than eating regular bread. It's night and day difference too. So I think that's been a good hobby to have. It gives me something to do on the weekends. I know you don't go out anymore. I have a family. I'm in the suburbs, and just transitioning in life as we get older, the hobbies that, I mean, 5 years ago, I never would have thought I'd been making sourdough on a Friday night.
No.
So transitioning into that, just kind of your backstory, where you're from. I know grew up in Columbus, but kind of give the listeners a little bit on Nick and kind of where you're
Yeah.
from, man.
Yeah. It's been so I always grew up active and athlete, but I did not always grow up the healthiest kid.
Yeah.
I did not have access to nutrition when I was younger. My mom didn't necessarily know as much about nutrition either. It was all about convenience, timing, and cost-friendly options. So I was definitely overweight as a kid. I say that jokingly, but I was for sure overweight as a
Same.
kid. Yep. And then as I got into high school, as I got into lifting and sports more seriously, I learned a small bit here and there about nutrition. I played baseball and football, and then I had to stop football for concussions and stuff like that. But I ended up going through baseball and being pretty competitive with it. So started learning more and more about nutrition there. And then as I got to college, I really hunkered down on nutrition and kind of like the bodybuilding aesthetics part of things, and got into probably the best shape that I've ever been in my freshman year of college. And then obviously from the college life, you go out, you drink, you party a little bit, have late night food. And so that body composition went kind of up and down. And then I found competitive CrossFit when I was in college. So that was really a huge cornerstone for me. Like I found a local gym here in Columbus, and I just started working out there and ended up working at the gym too. So that was a huge fast forward version of kind of me as a person.
I think something I wanted to hit on before we move from that, I don't know if you're going to kill me for saying this, but you originally went to Cincinnati and you walked onto the baseball
Yeah.
team. And then we were talking on our run that we did a couple weeks ago that you went to cheer.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So I can kind of
Super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So over the course of my college career, I actually went down to the University of Cincinnati for a year, and my mom was super into me trying out for the baseball team. So
Yeah.
ended up trying out for the baseball team, made the first round of cuts, and I had a meeting with the coaches down there, and it was like, hey, this is what you would have to do to be on the baseball team. It was schedule change, it was lifestyle change, it was everything. And over the course of high school, I kind of just started falling out of love with
Yeah.
baseball, and I lost that competitive drive to do it at a high level. So it was a big reminder of no, like it might be time for your competitive baseball career to be over and just live a college life, be a normal kid. And God's timing, of course, on the way back from that meeting, I have my baseball stuff on, and I stumble across a girl in the elevator, and she asked me, "Oh, do you play baseball?" And it's awkward, like, no, kind of a conversation. And she's like, "Well, we're looking for guy cheerleaders on the team. We practice right next to our dorm outside. Like, you should come by." So the next day, I come by. I try out a couple different times, and I end up making the team. So I cheered for the University of Cincinnati my freshman year,
Okay.
and yeah, so I did the fall semester as a cheerleader, and then halfway through my first semester in college, I got some news that my mom had been diagnosed with cancer. So it completely derailed any type of career with cheerleading at Cincinnati. And it was for the best that I transferred back to Ohio State, where I'm from, which I grew up in Upper Arlington, which is a suburb of Columbus. So I was in sense transferring home, and that was drives back and forth to Cincinnati pretty much the whole spring semester. And then after I finished up my spring semester first year at Cincinnati, I was fully transferred back to Ohio State sophomore through senior year. So yeah, that was a whole kind of give and take with that. And when I transferred home, I didn't have time to cheerlead at Ohio State. So
Yeah.
gave that up and just kind of worked, did school, and the whole nine with that.
Yeah. It's so crazy how similar, I think, even from childhood, our stories are. I know
Yeah.
you spoke on your mom. I don't know if I've told you this. My mom was diagnosed with kidney failure. So she's been on dialysis for, I was in fourth grade, fifth grade, since I've been in fifth grade.
Yeah.
And she's still to this day on dialysis. So 3 times a week. So I know what that struggle and pain, obviously my mother's still in my life, but just the seeing someone go through something and constantly battling. I know my grandma had cancer, and watching her go through chemo, and we ended up losing her my sophomore year. So just what it does to a family too, and just how lucky we are that we have the life that we have. We have our health, and why fitness is so important to us, and not just fitness, but the nutrition side of things, and making healthy lifestyle choices I think is so important. I think as we get older, and I know I have kids, and you're starting different relationships, and it's cool to kind of see how you meet people later in life that have very similar stories to you. I grew up with a single mom as well. So it's I transferred my freshman year. I moved back closer to home. So it's just, yeah, the more you talk, the more we get to know each other.
We are so
It's
similar,
very,
brother.
very
It's
similar,
crazy.
dude. It's
Yeah.
insane. And it's cool to see, like, kind of what we'll hit on next is just your joint journey as well through sobriety, and how you've worked through that, and what's ultimately led you, I think, into being a avid runner and just entrenched into your fitness. So if you could hit on that a little bit, whatever you want to speak on to that. I know
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not sober, but I love seeing what you're doing. Actually, my fiance's twin sister is currently 8 months sober. So just
Yeah.
seeing the transitions in people, and how incredible it is, and what it can do for, like, not just your physical health, but your mental and spiritual health as well.
Yeah, I actually just talked to her today. We're very similar in our timelines of sobriety, so we kind of connect on that. But as you said, I am a sober person, and it's been the biggest blessing that I could have ever imagined. But to get to that point, I like to make the joke to where I'm 28 years old, but I've made enough mistakes by the age of 28 than a lot of people have made in their entire lives.
Yeah.
And I don't say that as a way to flex on anybody, but by making that many mistakes, you have to learn and
Yeah.
adapt in order to overcome certain things. So, as we talked about earlier, like I went through a lot of grief and loss earlier in my life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I went down the wrong path with dealing with different stresses, anxieties, and schedule conflicts, which led me down a path of addiction. And luckily, God has blessed me with a sober life and still being able to be here as a result. But it really is a thing where your spiritual journey as a person, you have to open yourself up to something else besides yourself if you are dealing with a lot of mental or physical demons, I believe, just because the idea of surrender is so powerful to be able to give something up past yourself. You have to be able to release things and not just rely on you to get rid of them. And that's the position that I was in. I'd been in a fight with addiction, and nothing could keep me sober. And one day we had a chaplain come and talk to us, and it completely changed my outlook on how I was doing things at the moment. And so that day I told myself I was going to dedicate the entire rest of my life to God. And ever since that day, I've been sober. So it's been a journey to form a relationship with God and just try to give back to communities that I feel have touched my heart. And the sober community is one of them.
Yeah. And I think that's incredible, man. I'm so proud of you, and props to you
Appreciate you.
for having just the wherewithal to just know that there is a problem. I know some people don't ever get to that step. They don't ever make it to that point in life where, for me, example, I was in the same boat as you. I was going down the wrong path. I was making a ton of bad decisions and a ton of mistakes. But at the end of the day, I know you touched on this in your podcast from this week, is it's so hard to at times let go of the person you used to be,
Yeah.
and just forgiving yourself and not living in those mistakes, because the
Hmm.
people that we are today is so much different than who we used to be. And we've made
Yep.
so many different strides, and constantly and consistently putting in the work to be the person that we're still growing to be. Like, I still make mistakes. I'm not perfect by any means. There's still things that I need to work through, but seeing just how we mature and how we grow in those things, and being able to give ourselves grace on our past.
Yeah.
I think getting to that point is very hard, but seeing you in the place that you're in and the relationships that you're building is very comforting, and it just should be a example for others struggling. Like, you giving back is so good to the communities that you're trying to help, man. So again, super proud of you and love that what you're doing, and continue to pursue that. And talk about, I know you are speaking here soon, or you just did, at your former rehab facility. So
Yeah, I'm
talk
super
about that. That's
excited.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're recording this on a Wednesday night. My first day speaking, giving a lecture is next Monday. So I'm
Yes.
incredibly excited. So what the cadence of that is going to be is every 6 weeks, I'll go to the morning and evening session for that. So I'll speak a total of twice over the course of a 6 week cycle. And it's the exact same program that I was in for drug addiction. And the opportunity for me to go back to a facility with doctors, nurses, therapists, anybody that's associated under that building, to be able to go back and just give back to that community means more than words can describe over a podcast. If people are listening to this in their car, like it means more to me than a lot of things, because that building holds such a deep place in my heart. And whenever you get into the nuances of addiction and trying to help people through major life issues, the the whole consensus of this presentation is there's a beautiful life waiting for you on the other side of your biggest struggles. You just have to have the vision and patience to see those things. And a lot of the times when you're going through major life struggles or making the wrong decisions, you don't have the sight, or you don't have the clarity necessarily to see the good things that are on the other side, because you're involved in this guilt and shame of what the current decisions that you're making are causing. And guilt and shame are two big components as to why people don't change, because you constantly kind of feel bad in this rabbit hole over the people that you might have hurt, or you being hurt yourself. So going back and teaching the current patients of that program how I personally have maneuvered sober life and battled through a lot of the struggles of going back into the real world, and showing that I am a testament and not afraid to speak about it is a really cool opportunity for me.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. And not being afraid to be an example and talk about your mistakes. I know a lot of people that you spoke on are ashamed of it. And that was me for a long period of time. But now it's like, it happened to me. I can't change the course of my life. Honestly, a lot of the things that I've gone through and that I've done have put me in the position that I am in now. And without those things, I wouldn't be the person I am now. So you have to continue to push
Yeah.
forward and understand that God's plan for you is unfolding right in front of you. You just have to continue to make the right decisions and follow down a path that He has for you, and understand that at the end of the day, as long as you are serving others and you're giving back and putting yourself in a position to be an example and be a leader, I think is the most important thing at the end of the day. So to hit on sobriety before we move to the next topic, I think, what is
Yeah.
something that you could, I don't know if I've asked you this before, some advice or tips that you would have to somebody that may be sober curious, or they're looking to just make a lifestyle change in regards to their sobriety, whether it's with drugs, with alcohol, with porn, whatever it may be. Like, what is something that you can give to them? Because I know our stories are kind of the same as well. As like, we kind
Yeah.
of had a light bulb pop on in our head, like, what am I doing? I
Yeah. It's like,
think,
I need to change now.
yeah, now it
Yeah.
was like I hit rock bottom, and I can remember the moment I hit rock bottom, and I'm sure you can as well, without going into too much detail. But like, people that haven't hit that moment yet and they're curious on it, what is some advice that you could give to them?
I like to say if you're curious enough, then you're curious enough to seek change. And I think the biggest holdup for people that are in that situation is the actual fear of change. And what that means is the life that you currently have is what you know, but the life that you want, you
Yeah.
have no idea what that looks like. And there's a
Yeah.
ton of gray area in between. And the fear of change is something that we learned about a little bit in our program, but it's something that I dove into a lot. I had to journal a lot about. And it's the whole fear of you don't know what you don't know. So
Yeah.
if somebody is in this lifestyle that they might not like or they might not enjoy, or they notice themselves really going down a wrong path, they are so comfortable in that lifestyle that it's going to take something huge to knock them out of it, which is the position that I was in. Like God put me in a position to where I had to change, but you still have to put in the work after the fact. But I like to say, if you have the luxury of being able to change it yourself before you get to that rock bottom point,
Hmm.
then you really have to set aside your mentality, your ego, your pride, and think about, is what I'm doing right now actually worth the long-term goal? Is it worth the goals that I have? And if I were to go back and look, nothing that I was doing was aligned with the things that I wanted long term. And we can go into that once we start talking about faith and stuff. But the fear of change is really what holds people back into changing, because it's your life is so comfortable now. You
Yeah.
don't know you don't know the avenue of A, B, C, D all the way down to Z
Yeah.
over what those roads look like in order to get the change that you want. So
Yeah.
teaching people to change is, one, you have to be in a mindset that you are open and willing to change.
Yeah.
And the caveat to that is it's completely fine if you are not in that boat yet, because you will know if you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll know exactly the moment in time when I think it all kind of just clicks. And I use the example of being an athlete, or that time, whether you're playing baseball, you're playing football, and you're transitioning, maybe you're now on varsity, and that time and place where you're going through the game and it's very hard, it's very challenging, but then there's that moment where it just clicks and
Yep.
this, it kind of slows down. You're able to read what's going on. The game becomes a lot more, it becomes easy. And I think that comes with addiction, and there's a point in time in your life when you're just like, enough is enough. Enough
Yeah.
is enough. And I'm sick of going down this path. And it might take, for me, it was a group of friends. And
Hmm.
for other people, it's just maybe you have to just surround yourself with a completely new nucleus of mentors, friends, people that are just going to give you and put you in the best position to succeed. And that's
Yeah.
hard. And it's hard to find those people. And it's hard to find a community that is going to support what you're doing, especially people our age and being sober and the pressures there are to go out and drink and to go
Yep.
out and have to have those awkward conversations of, I'm not drinking right now, or why you're not drinking. One drink's not going to hurt you. And you've talked about this, and I'm sure you experience it all the time. And society just doesn't accept, I guess,
People that are
that
different than you.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just don't understand it. And it's so hard for people to see like something that they don't understand. That's the hardest thing, I think, to teach other people, and your choice. And you have to be okay with, okay, maybe I'm going to lose some friends.
Yep. And that's a big part of it. You touched on pretty much your environment being completely changed. The actionable step to change is, sadly, you're going to have to change the people that you associate with, the things that you do, and the places that you are. And if you're not willing to do all three of those things, you're not going to change. If you really want to be sober curious or adopt a sober mindset, because all of the people that you were with beforehand, they're only going to persuade you and enable you to be doing the bad habits that you were doing. The places that you go, you either need to stay in or not go to certain places that cause those certain bad habits to occur. And then the things that you do, are you going to bars? Are you going to house parties? Or are we cooking sourdough on a Friday night?
Yeah.
Much different, much different environment. So
Com-
yeah. And those are the things where if the fear of change is so high by needing to change all of those things at one time, it's okay if you're not ready to change all of those things. But you will know when it gets to a point to where all three of those categories do need to change.
Because you have to be 110% bought in to all three. You can't just be 50% into one, 50% into another, and then like 25% into the third. I think you have to really fully commit your life to the change. I know, at least for me, is I moved completely out of Columbus and
Mm-hmm.
moved back to my hometown. And at the time, it was a pride thing because I always said, I'm never going to move back to Zanesville. I'm never going to live in that town. And sure enough, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, dude. And being able to remove myself from situations and really get my head on straight and fully commit and let my ego and pride go to the wayside to
Mm-hmm.
changing my life and being a better person. It's the reason I have Emily and I have two beautiful little girls now, is because I decided to make those changes. And it took a long time. It took a very long time. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing your story and kind of giving the listeners an advice on it can happen to anybody, honestly. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter who
There's
you are.
addiction or bad habits do not discriminate who you are. You could be a Fortune 500 CEO or just a normal everyday Joe. It affects everybody the exact same way. Everybody has neurochemistry. Everybody has problems that they deal with. If everybody has dopamine receptors,
Yeah.
so it's going to hit everybody the exact same way.
And to move into our faith, I just want to start, just because we're ending on kind of that portion of our life and the journey that you're on. You said something in, I think it was your episode that you first talked about faith deeply on your podcast. And you
I knew
spoke
this was going
on,
to get brought up.
dude, I sit here and I think about this, like on my run. I was running with Ashley last Friday, and there was some quiet times on our run where we didn't really talk to each other. And I keep thinking about it, dude, weekly. And just, I think you said, and quote me if I'm wrong, because I might mess this up, but you said something to the effect of, you know God is real, and or you have like an 110% belief in your faith, in the most selfish perspective that you're still here.
Yep.
Dude, like
That's pretty much it. Yeah. It's
when
it's
you
probably one of
said
the
that,
colder bars that I've dropped on
yeah,
podcasts.
I was like, dude, that is a bar, and it speaks so much volume to my life. The fact that I'm here is a representation of God, my faith, whoever was watching over me so many times in my life on the things that I was doing, just
Yeah.
the sheer fact that I'm here.
Yeah. And I can kind of tie in why I said that
Yeah.
with the previous topic of sobriety and addiction to move it forward to our faith conversation. But God has showed me his presence. Jesus has showed me his grace, his mercy by the fact that I am alive. And the
Yeah.
reason I say that is when you are in the deep hells of what addiction is, I've seen both hell and Satan, and I've seen heaven and God. And 10 out of 10 times, I am going to choose heaven. So I don't think I've told this exact perspective on my podcast or really anywhere public. Um, but my rock bottom moment was when I overdosed and I had to go to the hospital. And right before, luckily, I was the one that dialed 911. But right before um, the ambulance came, I saw heaven. I saw how beautiful it was. And I saw bright sunshine full of love.
Yeah.
And it was God's testament and telling me, this is what's waiting for you, but you're not coming here yet. Like it's not your time. So I fully believe God kept me alive that day. And that's a part of the reason why my life is dedicated to God now, is because I had such a surreal spiritual moment.
Yeah.
And going forth into our faith conversation, there are more moments in this life on a day-to-day basis where God is real and Jesus shows you that he still lives with us, even
Yeah.
though he might not be here physically. He's always guiding your hand. He is always giving you wisdom, giving you strength, even when you don't realize it. And by me telling my story of me being here, that's enough belief for me or anybody else to believe that God is real.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Because that
Amen.
was when you said that, dude. I was, I just it just makes you reflect on. You can put it in perspective, and you've gone through. I've never overdosed. I've never gone through that. I don't know what that's like. I don't know that feeling of not having any control. I do to an extent, but not to the fact of losing my life. I've been in a couple situations where I was with the wrong people, the wrong time, not the best individuals, and I should
Yeah.
probably either be dead or I should probably be in prison, to be completely honest with you. And
Yeah.
when I reflect on that and really think about it now that I have a clear headspace, and in those moments, there's a split second of decisions that could alter the rest of your life.
Yep.
And the fact that God was there, someone was present in that time, because that's the only way I can explain some of the situations I've been in. There's no other way to explain it. And when you said that and you really take a moment to reflect on the things you've done and what you've gone through, it's just a pure fact that God is real. Jesus is watching over us. Even when you are in the lowest of lows, he is there. You just have to believe, and you have to surrender, like you mentioned earlier, to the fact, whether it's you're going through financial troubles, you're going through a heartbreak, a divorce, whatever it may be. I think you really have to take the time to surrender all of that to him. And that was one of my biggest things, is trying to do everything by myself, fix the situation I was in by myself. I went through some financial things of just young, dumb kids and spending way too much money, and I was spending it on the wrong things. And at times I could have put myself in a real bad situation, and I probably did, but there was always a way out, and he was paving that way for me, even when I
Hmm.
didn't realize it. And when I fully let go of all of my problems and just gave that to him instead of me trying to fix everything, because we're guys, we have egos, we have pride, we want to be the fixer. I think I told you this um, last week when we were talking after the run club of, I always try to be a fixer. And even in my relationship, if there's like an argument with Emily and I'm trying to fix the situation right away, but some people need time to reflect, or if there's something we need to talk about, I'm trying to just do it right now instead of
Yeah.
taking the time, because I'm a fixer and that's who I am. That's who I've always been. And I can't control every situation, and letting go of that, giving my problems to him and not being ashamed of what I've gone through, and
That's huge.
talking it out loud. When you're praying and you're having devotional, instead of being quiet in my head and being reserved, now I'm in church and I talk to him while we're going through worships. My hands are up, and just the relief that I have as a man, and that I can show those vulnerabilities and
Yeah.
be able to be in a safe place of with myself and comfortable with myself, because I'm letting him lead my life.
I think what the depth of this conversation shows is one of the gifts that I've gotten from God himself. It's the fact that we can be not ego-driven men, that we can be vulnerable with one another and talk truly vulnerable and not be afraid of judgment, consequences, anything like that. And the more vulnerable, open, and just true, raw you are to God, He already knows you. He already
Yeah.
knows exactly who you are. So the more that you fess up and the more that you surrender, the more He will give you opportunities to improve in those certain areas. And that's certainly true for myself as well. Like, I think another big one is if you lack purpose or direction, pray about it. Like
Yeah.
a lot of men, it's not talked about. Some people might not like their jobs. Some people might not like their living situation. Some people just might not like where their life is going in general.
Yeah.
Pray to God, talk to God about it. If you completely surrender and say, hey, God, I don't know what my purpose, what my end goal is that you want me to do in this life. I am willing to surrender that feeling right now to you. I am willing to let you drive the ship as long as you give me opportunities to work towards something that is fulfilling for you. And by doing that, I think you will have more fulfillment or more joy in your life than trying to do it yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a big thing too, is the purpose. And I know every day I don't want to go to my job. I'm not happy go lucky every single morning about going, but at the end of the day, I know, and this will speak to the people that feel like they have been praying or they have been reaching out for direction. Just know that you're in the season of life that you're in for a reason. You're doing what you're doing for a reason during this time. If for me, I know that maybe my job's not my ultimate end goal, but I know I'm in this place because financially it's helping me take care of my family right now. But I'm also able to still do some of the things that I would like to eventually pursue. And just knowing and having patience, because whether you're praying right now, it could come to fruition in 3 months, 12 months, or 3 years. You just have to be consistent and be able to know that at the end of the day, he's leading you down the path that you're supposed to be on. Because I get
Yep.
a lot of questions from people on how do I stay patient? Because I get it. If I had a job that I absolutely dreaded going to every morning, it would affect so many different areas of my life. So I understand. I understand where that comes from because I've been there. So if you're able to kind of get outside of that and have some gratitude for the things that you do have in that moment, and just give it up to God to understand that he has a plan. He has a plan for you, and it might not happen tomorrow. And you just have to learn to be patient and just dig in stronger into your faith. And I think the more that I dig in and I get closer to him, the better and more prepared that I feel for an opportunity that he's going to present to me.
Yep. Patience and obedience are huge when it comes to a relationship with God. Like you said, you don't know if a prayer is going to be answered in 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years. But you have to have the patience and be willing to lean into God, even in the tough times, even in the tests or trials times of where that comes. Just know God will never put you in a situation that you are not prepared for, or that he knows you can't handle. He's
Definitely.
not going to do that. There's lessons within his doing. He's not going to put you in a situation to just make you fail. There has to be some sort of leaning on to him that you can learn from those lessons that come from God
For sure.
and truly appreciate them.
Yeah. And I think that you can really dig in, and I can do a better job at this. I don't know if you have it. I'm going to get it for you. Actually, I'm going to send it to you. The Maxwell
Okay.
Leadership Bible. I'm going to remind me. I will order it off Amazon and I will send it to you.
Oh, I've
Dude,
heard good things about that.
it
Yeah.
is incredible. I have a copy of it, and I need to do a better job of, at the beginning of the year, I was in it every day. And then I kind of messed up my morning routine, and now I would do it in the morning, and then I moved it to after work. And then you know how after work is, you get home, I got the girls are running
Goes like
around,
that.
and it goes quick.
Yeah.
So getting it back in the morning and just being more consistent with it. But as you go through it, and it really helps you understand from a leadership and being an example, it gives you examples of different men in the Bible and different stories in the Bible of how you can pull leadership qualities from them. And then it will take certain people out of the Bible and list like their qualities of leadership. And it's really good, man. Like I said, I'm going to get it for you.
Okay. I appreciate you. Yeah.
And I will send it over to you because I saw it from Nick Bear, honestly. And it is great. If you're in it, I think what killed me is I started at Genesis, and I tried to work my way all the way through, and I just was
that's
waiting.
tough.
Yeah, I
That's
needed
tough if you try to do it cover to cover.
cover to cover.
Yeah.
And now this time I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pick a book in the Bible where I want to start, and I'm just going to pick random books, and every month is going to be a different book. So I'm going to start that. I think next Monday will be my first day, but yeah, I will get that for you. And then I'll give it to you at Dadletics. I'll order it off Amazon and get it to you at Dadletics.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, it's great. It really helps you understand it in a, I think in the position that we're trying to go in, I think it would be very beneficial for you, for the leadership qualities. So
Perfect. Yeah. It kind of is a weird dynamic because I do think of myself as a leader, but I wouldn't have known that
yeah,
unless God showed me that. Like God showed me so many lessons since I've formed a relationship with him. And the first one was kind of that my voice was meant for something. Like when I graduated my rehab program, like everybody, like you get your coin. It's
hmm,
probably up there
okay,
if people are watching. And every single person that kind of said something to me was around my voice and how it was respected,
yeah,
even in a rehab treatment place. And I had no idea the entire time that people kind of were listening to what I had to say. And so now that has been something that I've leaned into God for and asked for direction. It's coming to him and saying, hey, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, but just give me the words, give me the guidance, give me the wisdom to be able to do something that you see fitting for me. And over the course of months of praying on that, it gave me the opportunity to give the lecture at my
yeah,
rehab treatment facility and have a little bit more powerful of a voice when it comes to certain topics that aren't the sexiest things to talk about
definitely.
when it comes to, loss, grief, addiction, and
Yeah,
helping people through very hard issues that they might have. So like that's one of many lessons that God has taught me, but it's one that will remain with me for a very long time.
yeah, man, I think it's awesome, dude. Awesome what you're doing. Awesome what you have going on in regards to the speaking, your podcast, and just I'm excited to see what you are gonna do here in the future because I think God's plan for you is strong. You're in the right direction. You're on the right path. Some days it might not seem like it, but just keep going forward, man. Keep grinding. And I think that we can transition into your marathon training and that prep. I went through it last year, so I do not envy you right now. It's hot.
Dude,
It is
it is
awful.
so hot.
Oh, I don't know when are your long runs Saturdays typically?
So yeah, I switched it around a little bit,
Okay.
just for weekends and timing things up with Audrey. Like I don't want to have my entire weekends just me being out on the road.
Oh, and
So
miserable and
oh,
I was
like
grumpy. I don't know about you, but it got to,
mentally zapped.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to anybody. And Emily was pregnant too at the time. And I was just like, oh, dude, why did I sign up for this right now? This is
That's
off.
that's the boat I'm in now. I told Audrey in DC, I was like, I don't know why I did this. I wanted to prove something to myself that I could do something really hard as a part of my whole sobriety
Yeah.
recovery journey of doing something really physically, mentally challenging for myself. And I'm still doing that. I'm still,
Yeah.
like my long runs are pretty emotional in a good way. Like
Yeah.
it's a moment where like you feel alive and you feel thankful for being able to do hard things. But right now I'm running 4 days a week and I'm consistently over 40 miles a week.
Yeah.
And it just takes a mental toll. Like you can eat as much food as you want. You're still not going to maintain the same body weight. It's hot outside. It's hard to stay hydrated no matter how much water you drink, no matter how much sodium you consume. There's a whole bunch of different nuances to that. But like just the amount of time spent on the road every single week, or if like right now, my normal easy runs before work are anywhere from like 8 to 10 miles on a work day where I'm in the office. So waking up, running that amount of miles and then going in the office for an entire day, it's mentally very taxing, but it is rewarding at the same time. And I'm very blessed to say my body feels great besides a couple bloody toenails and a lost toenail
Oh,
as of a couple days ago.
I never had that. That was the one thing
Yeah.
because Ashley was telling me about it and I never got blisters really. I never got bloody
Yeah.
toenails. Um, the long runs were great. What I hated was the runs before work. Some of like even
Hmm.
just you get deep into the prep, it's like 7, 8, 10 miles on like a Tuesday. I don't mind the long runs. That wasn't the problem. It was those just little workouts that you'd have throughout the week. And some of them were so hard, like the
Yeah.
speed days that I would do. And
Oh man.
the
I
speed days sucked.
So Thursdays are our athletic days where we
Yeah.
usually see each other in the morning. Those are typically my hardest workouts of the entire week, and those take the soul out of me. Like they really,
Yeah.
like last week I quit, and I've never quit a workout before, and I've just said like I'm done.
Yeah.
We ran the last, I don't know what,
We did
quarter
quarter
half
of
a
a
mile
mile
together.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, and by that point, I was completely zapped. There was no point of me continuing the workout. I mentally just wasn't with it, and so physically, it's just not going to equate to finishing the workout.
Yeah.
So I was like a mile and a quarter short on the entire workout, but it was for the best. You can't win every single workout that you do,
Yeah.
but you got to learn something from it. If you fail, you got to figure out why. And fortunately, but unfortunately, I know why I fail certain things. It's just, yeah. But it's a huge journey, man. Marathon training is no joke.
To your defense on that one, you did only sleep like an hour or two, and it was hot. Last week was probably the hottest week of the year so
Last
far.
week was
Oh,
brutal.
I
Yeah.
mean, I got through the 2 warm-up laps that we did, and I was drenched. Normally, I don't take my shirt off till halfway through, and I had the one day that I actually wore shorts and not the running tights, my shorts were soaked after just a mile warm-up. I'm
Yeah.
like, I was at like a 9-minute pace.
Mhm.
It was just so humid. But I know when I was going through it, have you hit like I know you talked like a mental block and just like the fatigue, your body feels good. My body never hurt during the prep. I was more so of like, it was just time on feet, man. It is so
Yeah.
much and the hours that you put in throughout the week. I don't know how some people are just going from race to race to race. I don't know how they do it.
I don't either. It's really hard to believe once you get to that mileage how like I say I consistently hit 40 or above, but there's some people that go 50, 60, sometimes even
Yeah.
100 that work full-time jobs. And for you to find the time to do any of that, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you have to have nothing else on your calendar or on your schedule. And at the end of the day, I still want to be a normal human being also.
Yeah.
Like a part of our faith journey is God has showed me a very beautiful life of my own.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like running takes away from some of those things just for the hours that need to be allocated to do it.
Yeah.
So there's been weeks where, running needs to be paired well with some of the other things because, the time or experiences with some of those other things are worth skipping certain workouts or just not getting certain mileage in. And I'm fine with that. I'm not making money being a runner. I'm not having sponsorships. I'm not working with huge brands. It's simply a goal that I have for myself. And I think now that I'm about halfway through my marathon training block, I don't have a worry that I'll finish 26.2. But man, it's going to be a tough journey to try to fuel for it, to try to fuel all the way through it.
The fueling, dude, that was my biggest part. I know you saw me in the half and I was blazing, making good time. And then towards the end, I kind of fell apart like that last mile and a half. And I think I ran a 10-minute mile, the last mile. And which is, I guess, not, for me, it's awful, but it was just, even the marathon, it was, I did it in the fall, it rained the whole day. Once you lose your legs and you start cramping, like my lungs are fine, but once you lose your legs and you start cramping, there's no recovering. It's so hard to recover and get back. So talk about what's a day of Nick's eating? I know I would eat. I
Sure.
eat so much, dude.
I eat a lot of carbs. I can tell you that. I can provide some context too. So one of the things that got me into nutrition at first was actually my mom's diagnosis.
Yeah.
Being the son of a cancer patient, you see a lot of things in hospitals or assisted living facilities. And whenever I see those certain things, it sparked a curiosity in nutrition that I did not know that I had.
Yeah.
So ever since I was in college, I've been really curious about, macros, aesthetics, performance, anything to do with nutrition and healthy lifestyle, healthy food, all that stuff. So in that sense, it's really helped me with marathon training. In the first month of marathon training, I probably lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And that was a big wake up call to where you need to eat more. You need to eat
Yeah.
a lot more food. And luckily over the last, this is week 11 for me. So I would say over the last 2 months or so, I've stayed the exact same weight. So I know I'm
Yeah.
fueling pretty well. But a typical day of eating now is on a day that I traditionally run, I probably start anywhere from 50 to 80 carbs before I run. And that looks
Okay.
like some sourdough, banana, honey, something like that. Something very easily digestible, quick carbs, sugar, anything like that. And it took a while for my gut to be able to tolerate stuff like that. Like someone that's just getting into running, like I have people at work or my manager asked me about, different nutrition or running advice and stuff like that.
Isn't
And
that funny? Not to interrupt you.
yeah, go ahead.
When when people at work now are starting to ask you questions about what you're doing and your meals, and then they like get curious and it's like, oh, maybe I want to try that. Cause I definitely have guys at work now that are asking me questions because I'm very strict on my food, what I'm bringing to work. It's basically the same thing every day. But I thought that was funny that you said that people are asking
Yeah.
questions now.
Yeah.
But
So it is. I mean, you really do influence the people around you, whether you think
yeah,
so or not. Um, so I'm happy to give that advice. So before I run now with this heat, dude, just consume as much sodium as you can. I don't care.
yeah. Oh,
Like
I eat so much
you
salt. So
consume
much salt.
sodium, water, anything like that, just to be able to keep some type of hydration in you. Because it's probably mid 70s when we wake up. We're both morning runners
Yeah.
with high humidity right now. Whenever I run in that type of an environment, I don't care how much water I drink before, during, or after a run. It feels like I sweat it all out. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like my body retains anything. So I've just been, I've tried to be super diligent about sodium, water, and carbs. And in turn, within this prep, my fat and protein are not as high of a priority just
Okay.
because I know carbs are my primary fuel source. And
Yeah.
for right now, in that short-term goal that I have, I'm okay if my protein's not perfect. I'm okay if my fat's not perfect. And the luxury of having carbs be your main fuel source, you get to have a little bit more fun on the weekends and on the weeknights if you want to get ice cream, if you want to get some sweet treats or something
Yeah.
like that, because you're going to run 15 miles the next day maybe, so you're going to use the fuel. But typically any meal that's not like a sweet treat or like a splurge is going to be a healthy protein, a rice, a healthy fat, and some vegetables. Like I'm a pretty traditional healthy guy. I'm a meat, rice, veggie, avocado guy.
Same.
Yeah.
Simple, easy, quick to the point,
Repeatable.
repeatable.
Yeah.
I know the macros, it's been a big thing I've been getting into lately. And not so much worrying about like the aesthetic part of it, talking more so the performance. Cause besides like the marathon training, you're gonna definitely lose muscle mass, obviously. But
Yeah.
when you get into like where I'm training right now, I'm lifting 3 days a week. And I told you I kind of increase my lifting a little bit. And then I run 4 or 5 days a week. And I'm training for Pelotonia. So I have cycling in there, which I'm doing basically a brick workout on Tuesdays. So I'll bike and then I'll run, which is nuts.
I respect you. You're a psychopath. You train so much.
And that's where I'm like, I feel like I'm training more now, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the variety of what I'm doing. My body feels great. I'm not taxing my knees with crazy lifts, but going back to the macro side of things is the aesthetics, if you could tell people, are going to come. Like as long as you're being diligent in the kitchen, it's 80% of it. And I try to tell everybody this. You can work out like a maniac and a psychopath as much as you want, but if you're not taking care of the kitchen and getting the fuel that you need, then nothing's going to change, because most people are under eating. I saw that firsthand when I was going through the marathon prep.
Yeah.
I was like, something's got to change fast.
Yeah, this is the part of the conversation I feel like we're going to have a lot of fun talking about, is the nutrition and work in the workout part of everything. But you're right. Like your nutrition is probably 80% of everything that you want to see, whether that's physical or mental, with where you want to go. A lot of people are under eating drastically, but it's such a culture to where you're judged upon how you look. And I don't really hear it a lot, but like for me personally, but I
Yeah,
know like being like the skinny movement is back in right
it
now.
is.
So like
Yeah.
being as lean as possible, skinny as possible, people aren't as accepting of adding muscle to their frame.
Yeah.
So the switch over to performance and endurance is, I think, a really good mindset shift for people, because the performance that you see, the endurance, or just being able to do certain things with your body in a cardiovascular state, it requires a lot of food. It requires a lot of energy. But on the other side of that is, wow, I just did something really, really hard. I just did something really rewarding. And coming from a bodybuilding background, it's like the only time that you win anything or that you're rewarded on something is when you restrict, restrict, restrict.
Yeah.
It's how you look in a mirror versus
Yep.
what you can physically do. So that's why I've enjoyed the endurance part of things so much. It's not because I get to eat more or I get to eat, not as healthy things all the time, but it forces me to have a lot healthier of a relationship with myself and focus on building relationships with people through running, or just being able to work towards a goal. Like right now, my goal is to run in between like a 3 hour, 3:10 marathon. And you're not going to do that without a lot of intense mental and physical effort, which requires a lot of food, a lot of
Food.
calories.
Yes. Especially
So
for guys like us, because what are you walking around at? I think you're
I'm
weight
anywhere from like,
wise
I'm anywhere from 186 to 188.
8. Okay. So
Yeah.
like I would think I ran mine way too heavy. I was at 230 and I ran the half at probably around the same, but my nutrition was 10 times better. So in
Yeah.
turn, my time was 10 times better. But I would say, especially guys that you're coming from a CrossFitting background, you're guys just getting into the endurance space. I think it's so important to like kind of shift your mindset in regards to how you're eating, just because it requires such a different level of performance when you're doing these hard endurance efforts. Just like, I mean, we did the death by repeats, the 400 meters 2 weeks ago, 20 of them. And I mean, they're moving too. That's the best thing, like you said, about finding community. These guys out there are
Yeah.
working. They are working, and it's fun to go and compete. And I think this gives you that athletic background again, and being able to go and be kind of primal with other men and compete on the track. Dude, I
Yeah.
love it. And Tyler and
Yeah.
I were talking about that as we were doing our cool down last week, how crazy it is to we get to do this. We get to come out here. They're building such a great community and just a good solid nucleus of guys coming in to get a good workout in. I mean, some guys, you do your own thing, but still you're out there with other people and they're pushing you, even though
Yeah.
you're kind of doing your own workout,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is,
It's added accountability.
yeah,
Like even if I do my own running program compared to everybody else, it's still the extra accountability of, no, you should probably wake up on a Thursday morning because other people are going
yeah,
to be there. You should
yeah,
probably not quit because other people are going to know. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, and I think it's great. Tyler's built something super cool. I've known him since probably 2018 when I first started doing
Okay.
CrossFit, and seeing him evolve from a super, super strong person to a rower when COVID started to now a badass runner.
Yeah.
Like he's completely changed his goals, his priorities with where he wants his fitness to go.
Yeah.
And in turn, he's, made a really cool community out of it, who everyone has a goal. Everyone has some type of aspiration that they want on the
Yeah.
track, whether it's from my age or, a father of multiple kids. Everyone
Yeah.
has the same goal, just get better.
Yeah. I think I'm the only one in the group that doesn't have a race in the fall.
I mean, you kind of do. You're doing Peloton, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I, the more I'm there every Thursday I come, I'm like, it's giving me the itch to sign up again. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be in great shape. Why don't I just do it? But I'm
Make
like,
the decision when the weather turns away from the summer.
Yeah,
Right,
that's what.
right now is the time where you can be lazy and just not want to sign up for a race. And then once the cooler weather comes, you're like, oh yeah, let's do
Yeah, I'm
something.
gonna
Let's
go.
do something.
Even if I just do the half, I can go out there and run 13 miles and just see if I can get a better time than what I did in the fall. But
Yeah.
it's it's so cool to see what the endurance space does for you from the community aspect. I love just the people I've met. You, Tyler, Pat, some of the other guys there, and then just even guys at different gyms that I've run into, and just kind of the connection and correlation between being a good man. I think, I don't know what it is, but I haven't really met someone that doesn't have a good priorities. Like I think Tyler was saying last week, is like, I'm not coming home drunk from the bar at night on the
Yeah.
weekday because I know the workouts that I have planned. Even for me, Saturday mornings is I want to be sharp. That's my favorite day to work out is my Saturday mornings. I get a long bike
Hmm.
ride in, I get a lift, and I get a run. And I look forward to that each and every single week. So there's no shot I'm ruining my Friday night, ruining my Saturday morning by
Yeah,
enjoying my
exactly.
Friday night. And not saying that I don't have fun and Emily and I don't enjoy a glass of wine every now and then. We still are normal. We still eat good food. Like you said, you're in the prep right now and you're enjoying ice cream, and we're not crazy people. We still go and
Yeah.
do normal things. Like I love living my life. I love being able to run around with my girls, but what we're doing right now is only enhancing, I think, that portion of our life.
Right. Yeah, I think that's Audrey and I talked about this a little bit too. Like you want to raise kids, or we want to raise kids to where they see us enjoying
Yeah.
life and eating quote unquote unhealthy things
Yeah.
to show that we're actual people too, that we
Yeah.
can still enjoy those things, but be proactive towards goals that we have.
Yeah.
And going back to the thing that you talked about, I've met so many people that I told them, like, I'm training for a marathon. Like, I just ran X amount of miles this morning. And their response is, oh, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how
Yeah.
I don't know how you like running. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't.
Yeah.
Like some days I'm like, I'm mentally tapped out. I'm zapped from energy, but the actual time that I'm out and running, I love it. It's mental freedom, it's discipline, it's accountability. You're right. Like on a Friday night, if you have a 15-mile long run on a Saturday, it's extra accountability. You better go to bed on time. You better wake up on time. You better make sure that you're fueled right. You better
Yeah.
make sure that you're hydrated accordingly, because if not, you're probably going to have a bad time. So those are the things that I look forward to doing. And I enjoy nerding out on the things that make you a better runner. I enjoy telling people about running. I enjoy telling people about the strength training that I do specifically for running and how I got through like that ankle injury and everything. And it's just been a huge blessing to be able to enjoy running. But I think why people might not enjoy it at first is they just might come out too hot and do too
Yeah.
much and just not run the right way to enjoy it. Do you ever get that from people?
I get my biggest thing is understanding and meeting people where they're at. Like I feel like some people see, and I talked about this with Dr. Post on, some people see all this stuff on social media and they think that's the workouts that they have to do. I'm like, no,
Oh no.
those people started somewhere as well. Like
Yeah.
they didn't start at point C, they were at A. So let's take some baby steps, take a step back. You don't probably, people get misinformation on the workouts that they should be doing. They're not understanding how you need to progressive overload and put the
Mhm.
actual time into running. Especially, you don't want to go out and run 5 miles the first time you start running, or even 3 miles. Take baby steps here, especially if you've
Yeah.
never ran before. I get maybe if you're a former athlete, you can push it a little more, but someone that's just getting into running, that's not really been in the gym, just go out and start by maybe running for 2 minutes straight and just doing repeats at that and a walk in between, or go
Yep.
to your track and run a lap and then walk a lap, run a lap, walk a lap, or run 200 meters, walk 200 meters. You have to start at a base. You're not going to have the foundation built already. So I think that's where I see people that they start it and then they quit, is because they're, like you said, doing way too much, way too
Yeah.
fast.
To be fair, I probably do too much at times,
Same.
but for people like us, we've built up enough of a base to where we can get get or we can take advantage of that
Yeah.
sometimes. We can take advantage of it or just not see the consequences of it. But yeah, if there's anybody that's running for the first time, you're right. 2 minutes on, 2-minute walk for maybe 20, 30 minutes and just see how your body responds. And then as your bones get stronger, ligaments, tendons, and your legs get stronger, as you start to learn more about your body, your cadence, your stride, everything like that, then is really when you can add consistency, volume, and everything like that to be able to run several miles at a time. And then you get that itch to sign up for the 5K, sign up for the 10K, half marathon, anything like that. And that's really where like the enjoyment comes in. Then you can start running with people and it
Yeah.
starts to become great. Like I like running by myself too. It's a huge form of prayer and therapy.
Yeah.
But that run that we had, I forget when that was, probably a
It's
month or
like
two ago.
a month ago, I think. Yeah. It was like right
Yeah.
at the beginning of June, maybe, or into
Yeah.
May. Yeah.
Yeah. Like no headphones on. We didn't even look at our watches to see what paces we were running. We
Yeah.
just talked the entire time. And that was my favorite run of the
Yeah.
whole marathon training block so far, just because we talked in depth. We talked life, faith, fitness, relationships,
Yeah.
and didn't have any other worry in the world. And that's what the running community really is. It's that joint cohesion of goals, friendship, everything like that that just gives so much back to you.
Yeah. And you get to, like you said, I love running alone. It's like tonight, just finished my carbs, the G1M Sport. Shout out to Nick Bear. Going on my run tonight, it's just typically do it in the morning, but I'm looking forward to it because it's going to be it's quiet. I probably will have my headphones very low. It's going to be sunset and
Yeah.
just going out there and being able to be out. I love being outside. I love the little route that I have. I think I have like 3 or 4 miles tonight. So it's not a lot, but it's still to go out there and just nice, easy run, get
Mm-hmm.
my legs loose and warmed up for tomorrow. And just the time that you get with yourself, because it's literally you and you in your head. That's all running is when you're running by yourself. And I think when you get to the point of being comfortable in that and being comfortable with the uncomfortableness of running is when it becomes fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are several things to that, but even if you have 4 miles, 8 miles, 10 miles, and you don't want to do it, you have to talk yourself through it or else you're not
Yeah.
going to be able to do it. And like the podcast's name is Between the Reps. And I think that's beautiful because there are so many things that happen between workouts, between reps that are going to make you better as an
Yeah.
athlete, as a person. One of those things, or a couple of those things, are adaptability from your schedule. I'm sure if situations were ideal, you would have run 4 miles this morning.
Correct. Yeah.
But if it's important for you, you're going to make time to do it. So you're going to run 4 miles tonight when the kids are to bed after we've already done this. It's important to you. Like you're going to dedicate time to do it. And I've noticed that even over the course of my marathon training too. Like some days sleep is more important than waking up at the same time every morning. So I have to adapt my schedule if I'm running on my lunch break or after work and I still have a training run to get in. I have to weigh the options of, is it worth losing a couple hours of sleep to do this? Or is it worth sleeping the extra 1 to 2 hours in the morning and just trying to backfill it somewhere throughout the day? And I think adaptability is huge because if you were so rigid within your schedule, then it's going to break.
Yeah.
You have to teach yourself some type of adaptability in order to get to where you want to go.
Because you'll lose it. I think before, if I would have not gotten that run in this morning, I would have been in a bad mood. Now, just being able to adapt, being able to pivot. Hey, I wanted to do this podcast. I had my lift. Emily wanted to lift right after work because she had a long night. So I had to go lift in the morning, came back. It was my turn to take the girls to school. Emily wanted to get to work a little earlier. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to have time to run this morning. So Emily went and got her workout in right when I got home. And then I'm doing this with you and then being able to just pivot in your life and understand that at the end of the day, if life's not going to go as planned. So if you can move things around, like you ran on your lunch 9 miles, right? And that's crazy. And even like
Such a bad idea. It was
Yeah,
the most
dude.
chaotic lunch break ever.
But hey, you got it done. You made it happen. You had
Yeah,
to go back to work a little sweaty. I mean, my dad led it after Dadletics last week. I didn't have time to go home, so I'm getting changed in the Giant Eagle parking lot. I'm like, hopefully a
that's
cop
right.
goes crazy. Hopefully a cop doesn't come by. But hey, I threw deodorant on. I wiped off with baby wipes. No one can smell me. I don't really care. I threw deodorant on. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, I did what I needed to do for me. I think is how I look at it. And I think people have to put themselves in situations that are uncomfortable. And I think that's why I do some of those harder workouts on Saturday, the bike, the run, the lift, is because I still like putting myself in that situation and proving to myself that I can do hard things. I think
Hmm.
is fun for me. I like being uncomfortable. I don't know if that comes from my past and just needing that like adrenaline. I don't know what it is. I think I enjoy the pain. I enjoy it at times, which is kind of psychotic, but
I do too. I always like working towards something,
yeah.
even if I'm not mentally in the mindset to want to work towards something. I always like having that. I always
Yeah.
like the carrot to go after. And I also do like pain. So I
Yeah.
like working hard, like having a life with fitness, endurance, some type of health pillar in it just makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I can handle my day better, handle my relationships better, and just be overall a better human being with how I show up. And I think that's it is a good thing for you to have, but also for you and Emily to practice that
Yeah.
and be good examples for your kids. Like they're going to see both of you guys working extremely hard just because you love it.
Yeah.
Like there's no incentive, there's no anything, but it's a blessing that you guys have fitness and health as big pillars
Yeah.
of your lives so that they can be absorbed to that one day.
People would probably think we're crazy, but we've been doing this thing for the past 2 weeks, week and a half, where we do push-ups and sit-ups every night together in our living room. Like we don't watch a lot of TV most of the time. Our like night routine is the same. Get the girls in their jammies, come downstairs in the living room, hang out. Sage will bring me like 6 different books. We'll read the books. But we were like, what is something we can do to like do some sort of fitness together because we can't go work out together every day anymore. So we do push-ups and sit-ups on the little mat that we have in the living room. And Sage, I think it took to day 4, she started doing push-ups with us. So that's our oldest. So
That's
just
cool though.
yeah, it's funny to see. She can't do a push-up at all, but it's she'll get in the position and she'll like push herself up and then she'll just fall down. But and then she'll hold like Emily's legs while we're doing sit-ups and stuff. So it's cool to see how fast they catch on and how fast that if I was coming home drunk every night or if I was out at the bar with my friends every weekend, at a certain point, she's going to see that. She's going to start to notice those patterns. Or if I'm coming home late, she's going to start to see that. If we're constantly like eating McDonald's or fast food and we're bringing that home, she's going to see that. And that's going to become the lifestyle because that's how I kind of grew up. Like, I mean, we ate fast food all the time. It's like you said, convenience, time, and what was cost effective. So
Yeah.
it was I saw that and for a little bit of even college, you're an athlete, but I was like, it's easier for me to just go out to eat and grab McDonald's because that's kind of how I grew up. And then I kind of fell in love with cooking and there's so many different things we could go into, man, and conversations. And I want to be conscious of your time. I know it's we got to get up pretty early tomorrow. So is there anything I know I kind of want to end with this question. If you were someone just starting off or you're coming out of the situation that you and I were in, made it you out of some of the choices we made and starting a new life and starting a new chapter, what is one thing that you could tell someone to focus on coming out of that?
I'm going to be the tough big brother in this situation
Yeah.
and say, embrace the lonely period. And what I mean by that is it's a period for you to develop and grow as a human being. And not that you haven't before. And I'm speaking to you as if you are the one that is consuming this information. If you are
Yeah.
someone that feels like a change is needed and you have that fear of change, no change is going to happen unless you evolve and change yourself as a human being first. So by completely dedicating yourself and knowing that it might be a lonely period, changing the people that you hang out with, changing the places that you go and the things that you do, there is going to be times of loneliness. And I kind of term this as the lonely phase, like embracing the lonely phase in my lecture. You get the opportunity to throw a lot of things at the wall and see what sticks. You get the opportunity to see what lights your life on fire. What hobbies
Yeah.
light your life on fire? What are the groups of people that you've been missing out on? And by that, we talked about environment earlier. Your environment's huge. Maybe if you've never considered running and you go to a run club, those are the people that you associate with now
Yeah.
instead of maybe hanging out at a bar a couple nights a week. But the lonely period truly is a time for you to learn all about yourself and figure out how you tick, what makes you tick. And I think the better that you know yourself and what drives you, that will keep you stronger on the other side of whatever changes that you want to make. And for me personally, that was finding out the hobbies that I wanted or that I actually enjoyed doing. I found out sourdough was a huge hobby that I really enjoyed. I'm also, regardless of what it seems like, I love to write poetry and creative write. So one of the times that I like to be just intimate, sit down with myself and my own thoughts is whether it's with my journal or my notes app on my phone. I like to just let my brain go and meditate, and I love to write. And I never would have done that if I didn't give myself the opportunity or the try to do that. And it was all part of the lonely phase of just sticking to yourself and figuring out what you like to do while nobody else is around, while nobody else can influence your decision making. So that was kind of a big tangent there. But if you want to make changes, if you're somebody that knows there might be an issue, or maybe you just don't have purpose or fulfillment in your life, treat it as an opportunity for self-growth, for
Yeah.
self-opportunity, for you to have whatever you want on the other side. But just know it will be hard, but it's worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Amen, man. Amen on that. That is a great way to end the pod. That was you hit the nail right on the head is you have to you have to be okay with being by yourself
You
and
do.
figuring out what you love, what makes you happy because like you said, there's so many factors that influence your decision making and there's so much out there in the world now that pulls and pushes you towards different things and what society says you should do. And I think that's incredible being able to express yourself through words and through making sourdough. And it's just an extension of who you are as a person. And
Hmm.
Nick is a man that is vulnerable. He shows up for his responsibilities. He's caring. He's empathetic to other people and their situation, but also he's hard on you and he will make sure that you're showing up for what you're supposed to be doing. And I think those are great qualities in a person to continue to be a leader and continue to be an example for all of those around you, man. I'm excited for you. I'm proud of you and I love you, dude. And I hope that we continue to grow this friendship and I'm excited to
Absolutely,
see
dude.
where you're at in the next few months and can't wait to hear about your speaking engagements and all the things you got going on.
Yes,
So
sir. I appreciate you. A lot of those big things that I talked about from the Bible, God given. So it's all part of just growing as a person and
definitely, man.
serving God.
Definitely. Definitely. And that's what it's about at the end of the day is being a steward, serving and showing up for others. I think I try to live on that. And I hope that, like I said, we continue to grow this friendship and I will see you bright and early in the morning.
Yes, sir. See you on the track. Hopefully,
Yes.
hopefully hydrated, well
Yes.
slept.
Well slept, hydrated, and hopefully it doesn't rain in the morning. Yeah, I think
That's
it's
a
supposed to
whole
rain.
other wrinkle. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there though. So we'll tough it out. I think it's supposed to rain. I don't know. We'll see.
Perfect. Well,
But
I will say something before we hop
yes,
off here.
go ahead.
I've come to really enjoy your podcast. I think you do a great job on here,
I appreciate it,
especially,
man.
yeah, you by yourself, but also you and Emily. I think you
Yeah,
guys have a great dynamic on here.
I appreciate
Whether
that.
whether this is your purpose or this is your calling on here, doesn't matter. Like
Yeah,
you will do something cool, something special on here. So just keep being consistent and you will be rewarded, brother. Like what you're
I
doing is great.
appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah.
Just so
So my podcast is called the Redemption Collective Podcast. And I'm Nick Finelli is my name associated with the podcast. And then I'm on Instagram and TikTok at it's Nick Finelli.
good deal. Well, I will link all of that in my description for the podcast. And I hope that each and every single one of you continue to show up for your responsibilities, show up for one another, and reach out to somebody that you haven't reached out to in a while. Check in on them, tell them you love them, tell more people you love them. I think that's important, especially the men around you. Let's continue to grow a community, and I will see you in the next one. See you, everybody.